Awakening the ancient. The void of space stretched endlessly before the Larusian exploration vessel, its sleek hull gleaming under the light of a distant binary star system. The ship's captain, Selth Vuran, stood at the command center, his six-fingered hands clasped behind his back as he studied the strange anomaly that had drawn them to this forgotten corner of the galaxy. "Magnify," he ordered, his voice calm despite the tension rippling through the bridge. The viewing screen flickered, revealing a massive structure embedded in the asteroid belt. Unlike the jagged rocks surrounding it, this object was perfectly geometric, its metallic surface surprisingly unmarred by the passage of time. "It appears to be artificial, Captain," the science officer, Thela, reported. Her skin shimmered with an iridescent blue glow as she reviewed the scan data. "And ancient. Our sensors indicate it's been here for approximately 500,000 standard years." "That's impossible," Vuran breathed. "No structure could remain intact for 500,000 years, not in these conditions." Yet the evidence was undeniable. The structure's perfect angles and smooth surfaces defied the natural chaos of the asteroid belt. More intriguing still were the faint energy signatures emanating from within. "It's still active," Thela confirmed, her compound eyes widening. "Captain, I believe we've discovered something unprecedented." Vuran's antennae twitched with excitement. As a Larusian, his species prided themselves on their scientific achievements and technological prowess. The discovery of an ancient yet functioning artifact could elevate his standing within the Galactic Council immeasurably. "Prepare a landing party," he ordered. "I want to see this up close." Hours later, Vuran stood before a massive door embedded in the asteroid structure. The landing party had discovered what appeared to be an entrance, its surface inscribed with strange symbols that the ship's computer couldn't decipher. "These markings," Thela said, running her scanner over the door. "They don't match any known language in the Council archives." Vuran reached out, his clawed fingers tracing the alien script. Could it be human? The word hung in the air, heavy with implication. Humans were little more than a myth now, a species mentioned in the oldest Council records as troublemakers and upstarts who had disappeared from the galactic stage centuries ago. Most believed they had destroyed themselves through their own reckless technology or been quietly eliminated by the Council's predecessors. "Captain," one of the engineers called out. "I found something." The engineer had discovered a small panel beside the door. As Vuran approached, the panel suddenly illuminated, projecting a holographic interface. Thela gasped. "It's responding to our presence." The symbols on the interface shifted, rearranging themselves into what appeared to be a simplified version of the standard galactic script. "Welcome, visitors," Vuran read aloud. "State your species and purpose." The captain hesitated only a moment. "I am Captain Selth Vuran of the Larusian Exploration Corps. We come seeking knowledge." The interface flickered, and then the massive door began to slide open with a deep, resonant hum. The landing party stepped back, weapons instinctively raised as stale air rushed out from within. 500,000 years, Thela whispered, "and it still functions perfectly." They entered cautiously, their lights illuminating a vast chamber beyond. The interior was pristine, as though it had been sealed only yesterday. Along the walls stood rows of strange cylindrical pods, each large enough to contain a being of considerable size. Some kind of stasis technology. Vuran wondered aloud. Before anyone could respond, the chamber's own lights began to activate, bathing the room in a soft blue glow. A deep rumbling sound echoed through the structure as hidden machinery came to life. "Captain," Thela's voice trembled. "I'm detecting life signs." One of the pods at the far end of the chamber began to pulse with light. The transparent surface cleared, revealing a figure inside. It was humanoid, tall and powerfully built. As they watched in stunned silence, the pod opened with a hiss of escaping vapor, and the figure within stirred. "Impossible," Vuran breathed. "Stasis for 500,000 years. It was wearing some kind of armored suit, sleek and black, with a helmet that concealed its features. As they watched, the helmet retracted, revealing a face that sent a shiver down Vuran's spine. Human. The stories were true. The human's eyes opened, piercing blue and unnervingly alert. He looked directly at Vuran and spoke in a deep, resonant voice. "You are not human," he said, the words coming out in perfect galactic standard. "Identify yourselves." Vuran stepped forward, forcing calm into his voice. "I am Captain Sult Vuran of the Larusian Exploration Corps. We discovered this structure by accident." The human's expression remained impassive. "What year is it, Captain Vuran?" Thela answered, her scientific curiosity overcoming her fear. "By the Galactic Standard Calendar, it is the year 500 and 3,427. For a moment, something flickered across the human's face. Shock, perhaps, or grief. But it was quickly masked behind a cold, calculating stare. "500,000 years," he murmured. "Just as planned." He rose to his feet in one fluid motion, towering over the Larusians. "I am Commander Eli Tanner of the Earth Defense Force, the last sentinel of humanity." Vuran's mind raced. Earth, the human homeworld. It was said to have been destroyed in some cataclysm, though the details had been lost to time. "Commander," Vuran said carefully, "humans are believed to have gone extinct long ago. Your discovery is unprecedented." Tanner's laugh was cold and humorless. "Extinct? Is that what they taught you?" He stepped closer, his eyes boring into Vuran's. "We didn't go extinct, Captain. We were driven out, hunted, forced into exile by the very council you now serve." The accusation hung in the air, shocking the Larusians into silence. The Galactic Council was the foundation of peace and order in the known universe. The idea that it had perpetrated such an act was unthinkable. "That's impossible," Thela protested. "The Council stands for peace and cooperation between all sentient species." "Does it?" Tanner asked, his voice dangerously soft. "Then why did they try to eradicate us when we refused to submit to their authority? Why did they attack our colonies, poison our worlds, and drive us to the brink of extinction?" He turned away, walking toward a control panel that had activated with his revival. "It doesn't matter what you believe. The time for reckoning has come." With a series of swift commands, Tanner activated the chamber's central interface. A holographic display materialized, showing the location of dozens, perhaps hundreds, of similar structures scattered throughout the galaxy. "What is this?" Vuran demanded, a sense of dread growing within him. "Insurance," Tanner replied simply. "Humanity knew the Council would try to erase us from history, so we left behind sentinels, hidden in plain sight, waiting for the right moment to awaken." The hologram shifted, revealing something that made Vuran's blood run cold, a massive fleet of ships, unlike any design currently known to the Council. They were sleek, predatory, and unmistakably built for war. "The Armada," Tanner said, his voice filled with fierce pride. 500,000 years ago, when the Council gave us their ultimatum, surrender or be destroyed, we chose a third option. We hid our greatest weapons, our most advanced technology, and our best warriors. We scattered them across the galaxy, placed them in stasis, and programmed them to awaken when the time was right. And that time is now. Thela asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Tanner nodded. "Your arrival has triggered the awakening protocol. Even as we speak, sentinels like me are emerging from stasis across the galaxy. The fleet is activating. Humanity is returning." Vuran's mind raced. If what Tanner said was true, if there really was an ancient human armada awakening throughout the galaxy, the consequences would be catastrophic. The Council was powerful, yes, but it had grown complacent over the millennia. It was not prepared for war, especially not against an enemy with technology that had been specifically designed to counter their ancestors. "Commander Tanner," Vuran said, choosing his words carefully, Whatever happened in the past, the beings who wronged humanity are long dead. The current council is not responsible for those actions. Perhaps not directly, Tanner conceded, but they inherited the spoils of our exile. They live in the worlds we terraformed, use the jump gates we built, benefit from the technology we pioneered. His eyes hardened, and they perpetuate the lie that we never existed. He turned back to the control panel, inputting a series of commands. The entire structure began to hum with increasing power. "I'm not interested in genocide, Captain," Tanner said, his voice calm. "Unlike your ancestors, we don't seek to eradicate those who stand in our way. What we want is acknowledgement, restoration, justice." A new hologram appeared, showing a massive structure hidden in what appeared to be a pocket dimension, a technology thought to be purely theoretical. "This is the Nexus," Tanner explained, "where the bulk of humanity has been waiting, time flowing differently for them. What has been 500,000 years for you has been only a few centuries for them." The implications were staggering. Not just a handful of sentinels, but potentially billions of humans, preserved with their knowledge, their culture, their technology, and their anger. "Take this message to your council," Tanner said, transferring a data crystal to Vuran. "They have one standard month to prepare for our arrival. We will address the full council and present our terms. If they refuse," he let the sentence hang unfinished. "And what are those terms?" Vuran asked. Tanner's smile was cold. "The complete truth about what happened to humanity, reparations for the worlds that were stolen from us, and a seat at the table, not as supplicants, but as equals." He looked around at the Larousian landing party, his gaze unflinching. "The Council once feared human potential so much that they tried to exterminate us. Now they will face that potential fully realized. We have had 500 millennia to perfect our technology, our strategies, our resolve." Vuran swallowed hard, suddenly aware that he stood at a pivotal moment in galactic history. "I will deliver your message, Commander." "Good," Tanner said. "Now leave. This structure is about to undergo a transformation that you wouldn't survive." As the Larousians hurried back to their ship, Vuran couldn't shake the feeling that the galaxy as they knew it was about to change forever. Behind them, the asteroid structure began to glow with increasing intensity, shedding its rocky camouflage to reveal the sleek, deadly form of an ancient human warship. The countdown to humanity's return had begun. The reckoning. The Grand Council chamber on Nexus Prime fell silent as High Counselor Zareen finished reading the report from Captain Vuran. The 7 representatives of the most powerful species in the galaxy exchanged troubled glances, the gravity of the situation settling over them like a shroud. "This must be some kind of hoax." Counselor Drax of the Viserion Imperium was the first to break the silence, his scaled skin flushing dark with agitation. "Humans have been extinct for 500,000 years. Everyone knows this. The evidence suggests otherwise," Zareen replied, her luminescent skin pulsing with concern. As a Sethan, she was naturally inclined toward peaceful resolution, but even she could sense the storm gathering on the horizon. "Captain Vuran's credentials are impeccable, and the data crystal he brought back contains technological signatures we cannot replicate or falsify." "Then it's worse than a hoax," Drax growled. "It's a genuine threat. If these humans have indeed been hiding all this time, developing their technology, nursing their grudges, we must mobilize immediately." The Quarian representative, a being composed of swirling gases contained within a sophisticated exosuit, drifted forward. "The historical records from that era are fragmentary at best. What do we actually know about the human expulsion?" An uncomfortable silence fell over the chamber. It was Counselor Vex, the ancient Thraxi representative, who finally answered. "The Thraxi were one of the oldest species in the Council, their lifespans stretching into millennia. It is not a proud chapter in our history," Vex admitted, his crystalline voice resonating through the chamber. "The humans were problematic. They expanded too quickly, developed technology too rapidly. They refused to accept Council authority over their colonies. They were unpredictable, violent when provoked. So the council of that era decided to eliminate them. Zareen asked, horrified. Vex's faceted eyes dimmed slightly. Not eliminate. Contain. The plan was to restrict them to their home system until they could prove their readiness to join galactic society. But the humans resisted, and the conflict escalated. And now they're back, Drax said grimly. With 500,000 years of technological development and a vendetta against the Council. We have 1 month before they arrive, Zareen reminded them. We must decide how to respond. The debate raged for days. Some council members advocated for immediate military preparation, others for diplomatic engagement. Messages were sent to the furthest reaches of council space, calling for unity in the face of the human threat. But it was already too late. Reports began flooding in from all sectors of council space. Ancient structures, previously thought to be natural formations or relics of long-forgotten civilizations, were activating. Massive ships, their designs unlike anything seen in the modern galaxy, emerged from hidden docks and pocket dimensions. The human awakening had begun. Admiral Kara Chen stood on the bridge of the Retribution, the flagship of humanity's first fleet. After 3 centuries in the timeless realm of the Nexus, she had emerged to find a galaxy transformed. The stars themselves had shifted, some dying and others being born during humanity's long absence. But the fundamental truths remained unchanged. The Council still ruled, still imposed its will on the galaxy, and it had still tried to erase humanity from history. Status report, she ordered, her voice carrying the quiet authority that had made her legendary among the human forces. All systems nominal, Admiral, her XO, Commander Jackson, replied. The fleet is fully operational. 97% of Sentinel stations have reported in. The Nexus portal is stable and ready for the full evacuation on your command. Chen nodded, satisfaction evident in her dark eyes. The plan had worked. While the Council had believed humanity defeated, a select group of military leaders, scientists, and civilians had escaped into the Nexus, a pocket dimension where time flowed differently. There, they had rebuilt, recovered, and prepared for their eventual return. Now, 500,000 years later, by the galaxy's reckoning, humanity was ready to reclaim its place. And the Council? She asked. They're in disarray, Jackson reported with a hint of satisfaction. Our intelligence suggests they're divided on how to respond. Some factions are calling for immediate surrender, others for resistance. They've begun mobilizing their forces, but it's chaotic, uncoordinated. Chen studied the tactical display, where thousands of blue dots representing human ships were converging on Nexus Prime, the seat of the Galactic Council. The red dots of council vessels appeared disorganized in comparison, hastily assembled and lacking cohesion. They never expected us, she murmured. After all this time, they thought we were just a footnote in their history. Their mistake, Jackson agreed. Chen's gaze hardened. Prepare the jump to Nexus Prime. It's time the Council faced the consequences of their actions. High Counselor Zareen watched with mounting dread as the reports continued to arrive. The human fleet was massive, far larger than initial estimates had suggested. Their technology was advanced beyond anything the Council possessed. Ships capable of manipulating gravitational fields, weapons that could disable enemy vessels without destroying them, defense systems that rendered conventional attacks useless. We cannot win this fight, she finally admitted to the assembled Council. Not militarily. So we surrender, Drax snarled, his pride wounded by the very suggestion. We negotiate, Zareen corrected. The humans have not attacked civilian targets. Their strikes have been precise, aimed at military installations and government facilities. They want something specific. Justice, Vex said quietly. They want acknowledgement of what was done to them. The Chamber's alert system suddenly blared, cutting through their debate. A massive ship had appeared in orbit around Nexus Prime, its design unmistakably human. It dwarfed the Council Defense Fleet, which had wisely kept their distance. A transmission request came through, and with a sense of inevitability, Zareen accepted it. The holographic image of a human woman appeared in the center of the council chamber. She wore a simple black uniform adorned with minimal insignia, but her bearing conveyed unmistakable authority. "I am Admiral Kara Chen of the Human Alliance," she announced, her voice clear and unwavering. "I speak for humanity. We have returned to claim what is rightfully ours." Zareen stepped forward. "I am High Counselor Zareen. The Council is prepared to hear your terms." Chen's eyes, dark and piercing, seemed to evaluate each council member in turn. "Our terms are simple. First, the full truth of what happened to humanity will be acknowledged and recorded in the Council archives. Second, the worlds that were originally colonized by humans will be returned to our governance. Third, humanity will be granted a permanent seat on the Council, with all the rights and privileges thereof." "And if we refuse?" Drax challenged. Chen's expression didn't change, but the temperature in the room seemed to drop. "Then we will take what is ours by force. Make no mistake, Counselor, we have the means to do so. Our technology has advanced in ways you cannot comprehend. Our forces are already in position throughout Council space. We could dismantle your civilization piece by piece if we chose to." The threat hung in the air, all the more terrifying for the calm, matter-of-fact way it was delivered. "But that is not our desire," Chen continued. "Unlike the Council that sought to destroy us, we do not seek genocide. We want justice, not vengeance. Recognition, not subjugation. A place in the galaxy we helped build, not dominion over it." Zareen felt a glimmer of hope. Despite their overwhelming military advantage, the humans were offering peace, albeit on their terms. "We will need time to discuss your proposal," she said carefully. Chen nodded. "You have 24 hours. I suggest you use them wisely." The transmission ended. The Council erupted into heated debate once more, but in their hearts, they knew the decision had already been made. The humans held all the leverage, and their terms, while humbling, were not unreasonable. 24 hours later, High Counselor Zareen stood before Admiral Chen in person, on the surface of Nexus Prime. Behind her, the full Council assembled, humbled but intact. "We accept your terms," Zareen announced, her voice carrying across the plaza where countless beings had gathered to witness the historic moment. "The Council acknowledges the wrongs committed against humanity and welcomes your return to the galactic community." Chen's face remained impassive, but a subtle tension seemed to leave her shoulders. "Then let us begin anew," she said, extending her hand in a gesture that had survived 500,000 years. As Zareen clasped the human's hand, she felt the weight of history shift. The galaxy would never be the same, but perhaps it would be better. Perhaps the return of humanity, with their innovation, their determination, and yes, their capacity for both justice and mercy, was exactly what the stagnant Council needed. The reckoning had come, but it had brought with it the possibility of redemption. In the months that followed, the full story of humanity's exile was revealed. Records long buried were brought to light. The Council that had ordered the expulsion was exposed for the crime it had committed, not just against humanity, but against history itself. Human colonies were reestablished on worlds that had once been theirs. The Nexus emptied as billions of humans emerged to reclaim their heritage. The human seat on the Council was filled by Admiral Chen herself, her steady leadership helping to guide the galaxy through the massive transition. There were tensions, of course. Millennia of absence could not be erased overnight. Some species resented the humans' return and the concessions made to them. Others feared their advanced technology and military prowess. But as time passed, these fears began to fade. The humans proved to be fair administrators of their reclaimed territories. Their technology, rather than being hoarded, was gradually shared with the Council, ushering in a new era of prosperity and exploration. And the galaxy learned an important lesson: that no wrong, no matter how ancient, is ever truly forgotten. That justice, delayed by 500,000 years, could still be served. That humanity, once thought lost to the ages, had returned to take their rightful place among the stars. The reckoning had come, and the galaxy was forever changed by it.